So I saw this post. It says, which of these albums is a superior album? So I'm going to give you guys my top three. So the best one out of all these by far is definitely Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album. I was just listening to it again the other day and really enjoying myself. American Requiem is just a phenomenal opener for this album. I love what she did with Bodyguard. Like I said, we should have had a Bodyguard summer, but when you don't promote the album and you don't release it as a single until too late when no one give a fuck, now we don't have Bodyguard summer. But I digress. I love that song. That's still my song of the year. Obviously, I think that Two Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus, phenomenal. One of the best songs in the album. Yaya is so much fun to listen to. I absolutely love Tyrant. I think it's a really strong album. I think that there's just so much in the lyrics, and it's so culturally rich. I love her vocal performances on here, especially on something like Daughter. Great production. There's a lot to think about with this album, and I think it just sounds great. So that would be my number one. At number two, I would say Brad by Charlie XCX. This is definitely one of my most played albums this year. It was not one that I was necessarily expecting to like, but I love this album. It's definitely one of the best albums of the year. 360, I think it's a great opener. When I was first getting into this album, I used to listen to it on repeat. I love, Sympathy is a Knife. I think that's an excellent song. Rewind has always been a gem for me. I like the version of Girls So Confusing more with Lorde, because Lorde really ate that up. Apple is also a favorite on this album as well. Spring Breakers definitely needs to be a single. So Brad at number two. And at number three, I'm going to say Ariana Grande, Eternal Sunshine. I feel like I'm one of the only people that like the album this year. A lot of people, Eternal Sunshine was trash, but then y'all go up for, Lotto's awful album. So I can't really take y'all seriously. But Eternal Sunshine was so good. I'm sorry. I love Ariana Grande and what she did with this album. She had to be done for me. I love the intro. No one talks about that song enough. Don't Want to Break Up Again. Supernatural, amazing. The Boy Is Mine, amazing. There's not a bad song on this album. There really isn't. I prefer the version of Yes and with Mariah Carey. That version is the superior version. But yeah, this is a really good album to me, and y'all doing too much. So that's kind of my top three overall on this. Billy's album was good. Taylor Swift's album, I've said this a billion times, but it just kind of was a disappointment. I haven't really revisited it as much as I would have hoped, and I really need to get to do that video on my main channel and breaking it down. It's just going to take me forever to do it, which is why I keep not doing it. But hopefully in the next few weeks I finally get around to it. But yeah, a few good songs, but Taylor said better albums. Dua Lipa album, I think it's one of the worst albums of the year, to be quite honest with you. I have not revisited the album since I reviewed it on my main YouTube channel, and I haven't. There was a few songs I liked, but at best, it was 4 or 5 out of 10. And that's me probably being a little generous. Illusion was trash. Houdini was a disappointment. I think Training Season was by far the best single, but it just didn't really give what needs to be gave. I really enjoyed Billie Eilish's album. Birds of a Feather and Lunch have been my two most played. Those are the ones that they keep going back to. But I think I gave the album, 7 out of 10. It was a good album. And so those are kind of my thoughts on albums that I've heard here. Sia... Who cares about Sia in 2024? Nobody. I don't know what the album is next to it. And Katy Perry, I'm not listening to that. Everyone said her album was trash. So those are my thoughts on the ones that I listened to out of these. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. What album do you think is the superior album? And let's continue that conversation.